God made the animals. God was making a beautiful world for people to enjoy. He started by making light so we would have daytime and nighttime. On the second day, God made air, the sky, and the clouds. On the third day, God made the dry land appear. There were tall trees and plants and flowers and all kinds of things to eat. On the fourth day, God made the sun to shine in the daytime and the moons and the stars to give us light at night. Our world was quiet and very empty, but God wasn't finished yet. On the fifth day, God said, "Let the skies be filled with all kinds of birds." And immediately there were birds of every size and color and shape. There were birds that had flapping their wings as they flew through the sky and ran on the ground and swam in the water. There were birds that were singing, birds that were chirping, and birds that were squawking. Then God said, "Let the waters be filled with living things." And immediately the oceans, the lakes, the ponds, the rivers, and the streams were filled with all kinds of fish and water animals. God made whales and dolphins and seahorses that live in the ocean. He made starfish and sea urchins and hermit crabs that live in the tide pools. He made catfish, bass, and bluegills that live in the lakes. He also made salmon and rainbow trout and sturgeon. God thought all these things of all these different things in kinds of fish and water animals and made them all in one day. He looked at all the different animals and fish he made at all the different birds and fish that he'd made and said, "These are very good." On the sixth day, God said, "Let the earth be filled with animals." And he spoke, and suddenly there were large animals and small animals, even creepy crawly animals. He made animals that crawl, animals that ran, and animals that liked to swim. He made animals to live in trees, animals that live in caves, and even animals that build their own homes on the water. God made animals that squeak, animals that growl, animals that make sounds that we can't even hear. God made all the animals, and he said, "This is very good." He was pleased with all the animals he'd made, but he wasn't finished yet. The most important thing of all God's saved till the very last. Our world wasn't quite quiet anymore. God had made a beautiful world with all the birds and all the animals. He had thought of where they would make their homes to live. He even gave each of them the ability to have babies just like themselves. Only God can do that. That's why the Bible tells us God made the world and everything in it. Acts 17:24.